things have happened, and it's time to recap the things about the things with the things that go vroom vroom in the sky and fly around and go, whoa. I decided to combine 5 and 6 because I feel like not a whole lot actually happened during week 5. One of the coolest things that happened this week is that I went to an abandoned building called the Witch's Castle. It's technically called Stone House, but everybody calls it or refers to it as Witch's Castle. You have to kind of hike out in a forest park, and it's some bathrooms that got abandoned back in the 60s. They were built in the 20s for hikers. There was a big old ice storm, I think, and caused some pipes to burst, and they decided not to just not fix it. It's all graffitied up, tagged up, and I decided to take some whoops out there, and I did have to wait about an hour for all the families and kids to leave. I made a poor decision and I decided to go out on a Monday, and it happened to be the first Monday after school got out, so everybody and their kids were there. It turned out to be a really fun place to fly. There was a lot of doors and windows that were open, and then a guardrail there. The second thing I ended up doing to get a little more practice in was to build a track and velociraptor that only consisted of things that I'm terrible at. So I went ahead and made this track. It's got a lot of really long runs with sharp corners, and then a ladder up and a ladder down, and going opposite directions. And it's not the greatest track in the world, but it definitely helped me get better at some of the things I was really bad at. So the primary thing this week was getting myself ready for the race. So I'm part of a multi-GP chapter down in Lebanon, and our, I think 4th race of the year was this week. It's race day. 1 week before West Coast Throwdown, so it's my last chance to really get more practice in, get some real actual race time in. Went down there, met everybody. Quite a few of them actually been watching this, which is kind of cool. And then the guy that runs it, Chris, he surprised us all with these t-shirts, all the regulars. I mean, so it's got the multi-GP chapter logo on there, and then on the front he had them actually customized to have the pilot name for everybody. I mean, who does that? That's crazy, way above and beyond. Now, when I mentioned drone racing, and I see a lot of newer people post things online, one of the main things they ask is, how do you actually know where to turn and where to go? And one of the things that we always end up doing is, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty normal, like every single race I've been to has started this way. As soon as the track's set up and we're about ready to do some practice and then do qualifying, we do a track walkthrough, and we just walk through all the gates as if you were flying. And that's the easiest way to get started, or to get it memorized. And on this track, there was only about 6 gates, so it was actually pretty simple and easy. We've done some tracks with the pilots from, I think, the Corvallis. I think they're from Corvallis College, and there's a drone team there. And when those guys bring their gates, we end up like having double the amount of gates. So usually our lap times go from like, low 20s to like high 30s whenever those that many gates are there. Now, the moment you're probably all waiting for is to see if all this practice actually ended up panning out. There's a guy at my multi-GP chapter that for the last 2 races I've been neck and neck with. 2 races ago, I think I ended up getting first. And then he got second, and then the last race he got first and I got second. So we've been kind of neck and neck. Now this week we did have one of the guys come back that has been missing the last couple weeks because he got a house and he's been fixing it up, making sure it's all ready to go. And he came back, and he's the fast guy. He does like 5 or 6 seconds faster than almost everybody else there. So, or that's per lap. And so he got there, he took first. Then there was another guy that's raced with us before that normally only races 5 inches, but he finally had a street league built, and he's really fast, and he took second, and I took third. So I did end up getting faster. I ended up beating Brad, who I think it was 2 races ago when I got first. That race, we actually had a couple heats where we were like literally passing each other back and forth, which doesn't happen very often. Usually there's like one person that ends up taking the lead, and then everybody kind of like settles into their positions, and you don't really have a whole lot of passing. So it's really fun when you do have somebody that you're really, really close and tight with. And that, for me, the last few races has been Brad. And this particular race, I was averaging about a second a lap faster than him. So I have gotten better. So I have to say that the improvement wasn't as much as I was hoping for. I do still struggle with long straights and then a tight turn at the end, or a long straight and then an orbit around a flagpole. And that's still something I think I need to work on, leaning far forward more during those turns. But I was also struggling with, like, in the sim, you hardly ever have real prop wash during a tight turn. And in real life, I kept fighting that. So I might need to tune my drones a little bit better. But I was able to, still get a second or two faster. I think I averaged like a 21 and a half second or so during qualifying. And then during the actual race, I think I was 22 and something during the finals. So I did get a little bit slower throughout the day when it was getting hotter and hotter. But it wasn't as bad as it was last race. And that was the main issue I had, is like the last race, I was so tired and just worn out from the heat. And just constantly focusing on where I was flying all the time, that I ended up doing like way worse during the finals or during the mains than I was during the qualifying. So I did improve there. I was a little bit more consistent. I think I had the third fastest 3 laps as well. And I think for our multi-GP, I've moved up into second place, which is kind of cool. So for the overall season, I'm in second. For that particular race, I got third. And I'm pretty happy with that. I do want to get a little bit better. And next week is West Coast Throwdown, and that's what I'm packing for right now, trying to get everything set and everything I need ready to go. But yeah, I'm really excited for West Coast Throwdown. I'm excited to go down there and actually do racing with everybody, whereas last time I was just spectating and then doing freestyle. So there's probably going to be a lot more stick time this year. And I feel like when you become part of a multi-GP chapter and you meet up with the same people, you get to, everybody clicks a little bit more, and it's a little bit more fun when you go have a big gathering like this. So I highly recommend it to anybody out there. Get out there, find your local multi-GP chapter, and do even just novice races. Like, we have a novice class, so anybody can join and just race around, and even if you're slow, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's super fun. Just get out there, and I'm looking forward to West Coast Throwdown and seeing if I can take a few people out. Later.